So our mission and our vision will continue. And so we talked about 1985 and what Fellowship Christian Farmers offered real practical hope for the stressors that we're encountering back then. And Teresa was just talking about it. Kind of looks like some of those stressors are coming back in, and the equity of farms, commodity prices are so depressed right now. We're looking at similar situations, and we're looking at opportunities to be able to deal with those stressors. And even I get requests, and I'm networking people together to connect with some of the people we even had on the panel last year, Dewey Higgs and people like that. And so there's lots of opportunities for that discipleship ministry of working with farmers that are under stress. And then we have tremendously expanded in the last 40 years in the area of evangelism. And today, we're very thankful that we had Brad Wilson here, because he set a very nice prelude into this concept of discipleship. This is a growth area for us. This is a tremendous opportunity. So we're at one of these unique crossroads where now we're looking at how do we build the discipleship into what we're doing. And I believe that this is an opportunity for us. And so we're going to be addressing the things that Brad is talking about, and we're poised right now because I've been meeting every Monday night with retired navigators who are expanding this into a group, and so now we have to have the connection with our area leaders and our point men and our field men. We're building in this opportunity to actually integrate the discipleship ministry through an app that we're developing right now, and we've got it developed, and it's under the nameherald.chat, but you opt for a mentor or a life coach, and you get connected. An email comes to me and lets me know, and we'll probably retrofit that because that'll be a lot of responsibility for one person to make all those connections. So as we hire in new staff and things, we'll be doing more work and delegating more of that out. But everyone here is coming with unique gifts, talents, abilities that are essential to carry out this mission. And that's why I'm so appreciative of Scott, because he talked about all these unique ways in which we can come together, and he got us brainstorming all these different ideas. And so we have a diversity of different opportunities that are available to us now, and that really speak to the needs of people. And we want to be able to address that. Let's talk a little bit about the overview of some of these kingdom opportunities that we have, from evangelism, from the local booths to local focus groups. We have the FFA. We've expanded into that, right? And we're at about 30 different FFA groups right now, our conventions that we're going to, and we're expanding. We're looking at more at the West Coast. We're looking at the Northeast. Bill Brown is strategizing here coming up in August in a meeting, and Michael Steele is looking at some of those locations, and we're all working on putting this together to reach more of those. But then there's 4-H, and Art Free has been talking about 4-H. He says, hey, here's an opportunity. Why not 4-H? So we have opportunities there. And the Steeles have been going to the campers. When they go camping and stuff, there's all these different campers there, and there's an opportunity. And then they said, oh, let's go to RV conventions. So they go to the RV conventions, and they spread the gospel there, and they set up a booth. And of course, we talked about the struggling or the stress. The people who are stressed, and we have struggling in the inner city. We were talking about that today. There's opportunities, and we can even take some of these FFAers and link them on a mission to the inner city or to anywhere, and direct them to, in terms of them learning the discipleship, because a lot of these FFAers are Christians. And Jeff Goss can attest to that. He meets a lot of them. We need people to help them plug in and follow up. But discipleship. Now, with the new app that we've developed, we have opportunities to do things online. But there's many of you that aren't comfortable with being on the computer. Maybe you want to be by phone. It doesn't matter. In fact, maybe we can ask people that want to volunteer to do this discipleship. Do you want to do things by phone, or do you want to do things online on the computer? Either way, computer is messenger or email or lots of different ways to connect on the computer. And then we have opportunities internationally. I've had all these WhatsApp groups that I've maintained the connections for years. And Brian can talk to you also. How many people contact you, Brian, and want to just chat with you from overseas? Is it how often?
There's at least 3 different groups. Every day, multiple times a day, and you just can't accommodate it all.
I can't. I get people, and I don't know what to do because I'm overwhelmed with all the people that connect with me from overseas and want to. And these are people, new people that are connecting because they see the name Fellowship Christian Farmers. They want to connect with us, and we're on the internet. These are also people that I've already connected with. And Brian and anybody else you talk to who's worked overseas, they have the same thing. So we want to have a system to plug people in, and we can do that through these WhatsApp groups or Messenger groups if you like Messenger. And if you like Messenger, it's really easy to get familiar with WhatsApp because it's not much different. So there's opportunities there. And in getting younger people involved in this, I would love to have trainings where we would connect people to this. And then let's talk about resilience for farmers. This is something that is going to be an ongoing problem because we need to address, when we're working with people, particularly overseas and in Europe, and to a certain degree, there's these cultural or ideological problems that are impacting productivity and freedom to farm and use the different tools that we have in farming. And then they impact economic situations. And there's environmental challenges, not just the environment itself, but what people's perception of the environment should be and their perception of stewardship. And that's affecting European farmers in particular. And so there's some real opportunities there. Prayer. Everybody knows prayer is really not something that we just do whenever we have time, but we need to make it a priority. So every month, a Zoom prayer fellowship, we pray together. We have a presenter who talks a little bit, and then we pray about people's needs, and we pray from people all over the world. One of the things that's a little bit disappointing to me is that we have these people that connect with us on our Zoom prayer, and I've noticed that we're probably not giving them enough attention. I will extend the meeting afterwards for up to another hour, just so we can talk to all these people coming in from overseas. But I'd like us to really ask God, how do you want me to integrate and work with people from overseas that come to our Zoom prayer fellowship or on these WhatsApp groups or different? I want you to ask God and say, God, are you calling me to this ministry? We have the mission trips and the disaster response. The disaster response is like a mission, and it shows the love of Christ, and it really deeply touches people when people come and meet them in their time of crisis. That's the true love of Christianity coming through. And the same thing happens when we go overseas, but it's not so much doing things for people, but getting them over the hurdle of dependency and entitlement and getting them beyond the cultural constraints of fatalism or shame, honor, or shame demand type systems where everybody is trying to hold everyone's holding everyone down because nobody can produce anymore, because then someone's going to come and ask for whatever is extra and say, you don't really need that. And that's what people need to invest and grow their business. So we can protect that by teaching people how to do savings groups. And savings groups, then the whole group gets to decide if that money can be given out for an emergency, and they might even leverage it, say, you got to come and do some work. And we can train people how they can do mutually beneficial exchanges that can allow the savings groups to be a little flexible. And then A.E. Alvarez talked about microfinance. Microfinance is a tool. It's a wonderful tool. And we have all kinds of, I was just talking to someone else about microfinance here. I don't know who it was, maybe it was yesterday. Okay. Was it you, Tom?
No, same
okay.
thing at the Ox.
Yeah. So it was the Ox. Yeah. I don't remember who it was. It's another opportunity that engages people, and we can put that together. I love to do trainings on things like that. We're gonna consider that. If I can get people interested, then or God can get people. Why should it be me? It should be God getting people interested in those things. Practical volunteer opportunities. So, local gospel booths and events, we need more volunteers to initiate the discipleship ministry. Now, I think Brad will also tell you that if you're going to spend time talking to people and getting them going with some materials and some connections, getting them onto the herald.chat where they can elect for, and showing them, hey, if you push this button here, you connect with an online disciple person. This is something that would take just a little bit more time. I've tried to expedite the process as much as possible, but it's going to take a little bit more volunteer effort to do that. And once people are connected there, they're connected to this group of online disciplers. And then those online disciplers, either they or another group of volunteers will actually work on vetting the local church to make sure that we can put them. And I love Brad's idea of finding the church planters. Why can't we go out there and say, who's the church planters? They'll put a lot of effort into following up. And so I'm walking away with that. That's a great idea today. I was just really thrilled with all the things that Brad was talking about today because I'm getting ideas. But we're going to need more volunteers, and I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, how we can get that. And then gospel tools for home or by group. Bill Brown does a great job of producing these walking sticks. And I'm sure Brad has a whole group that gets together. So we drill those and attach the beads. And we also have seeds. I know where to get seeds inexpensively. And we can package seeds. And that could be another opportunity for bringing a swag that brings people into the booth. And so we find that out a little bit in Oregon. Because in Oregon, we don't have a place where we're making walking sticks out there. So we need something else. So we did fly swatters and we did seeds. And so if making walking sticks seems like a big production that you're not quite all set up for, why not the simple task of putting some seeds in a package? And what does that take to do that? We can ship the materials to you, not necessarily, but even walking sticks, we can organize how to get those walking sticks to you as well. But things you can do even your kitchen table. And that's why I had you show you Michael Steele and what they're doing with those little zipper pull bracelets and things like that. That people like those and they hang on to them. And so they've got a lot of good ideas. So from your home, you can disciple people by phone or on a computer. And our discipleship program is automated and it's customizable. And it needs you to make it personal. Okay? We have a number of different things that are located in herald.chat, and we're still working on improving it, but it's up and coming and it's usable. The programmer just made some changes recently that make it so that you could even go in as a guest. I think that was one of the reasons why maybe we weren't getting quite as many people going into it, is because you have to put all of your email and things like that. So if you come in as a guest, but you do have to put your email in to save the responses, because it asks you worldview questions and has a customizable discipleship plan based on what you get wrong in your worldview questions answers. So there's a lot of good things in there that we're building into that. Database and support communications. So we need people that can help us improve our database. Our database is going to age out completely if we're not careful. And I've asked people, and some people have done this for us, to send a postcard out. We have addresses for a lot of people, and we don't have phone numbers, we don't have emails, and email is a lot less expensive to communicate with people. And not always is effective, because some people still like to get, particularly our major donors and stuff, still like to get the things in the mail. But having that option of doing more with email is great. So people want to volunteer and help us update those connections. That's great. So speaking about FFA, we engage with thousands of FFA youth yearly, and we can have more volunteers helping us coordinate disaster teams, organize urban missions trips. I've got a few ideas in that regard, but need someone, a coordinator type person, to carry it further, because if I get to doing these things and organizing everything, it's going to be pulling away from the different main things that we're doing. So someone has to have a vision for something. I love to champion people's vision. And if you have an idea and you want to do something, things that we were talking about with Scott Fisher, let's keep talking about these things and let's keep looking at these possibilities, because we're called to have an impact. And we're called to impact people in ways that are practical and spiritual at both at the same time. And we need people to do more mentoring and following up with and disciple our youth volunteers. We've got lists of youth volunteers right now, and we need a little bit more engagement with them to follow up with them, disciple them, and keep funneling them into ministry. And so we've been developing those lists of people, and we're working on that. But it's a team effort. And you guys are my connection to the other potential team members that are out there. We have challenges for farmers. There's extreme environmental policies. It'd be great, and I would try to help if we wanted to build a team to explore biblical advocacy, steward-related responses to some of the stressors that are there for farmers, particularly in the west of the United States, where those stresses are more prominent, and in Europe. And then we have this commodity pricing crisis. Maybe forming a working group to investigate alternative income, specialty crops, or on-farm value addition, or cooperative efforts between farmers, adding management, employee housing to be able to have enough people to manage that kind of a shift to specialty crops. It takes more people for management, it takes more employees, things of that nature. But if farmers are working together and cooperating together, maybe there's going to be less equity loss, because there'll be a shift into higher value crops, and we'll work together to make it possible. So those are some possibilities to look at. Lots of ideas that I have in that area and what could be done. And we need to expand evangelism through networking. We need volunteers willing to, hey, almost everybody has a Facebook list. And that Facebook list is a gold mine of opportunities to find people. And now some people have LinkedIn as well. And so we brainstorm who might be interested in giving, praying, or serving. So how many of you guys have a Facebook account? Okay. If you have a Facebook account, that means you're connected to people. How many go to church? So you're connected to people. Those people, Facebook, LinkedIn, church, Farm Bureau, other. Teresa, you have something to say?
Yeah, I just want to say it's not a big thing that we're saying is that if you follow the Fellowship of Christian Farmers Facebook page, the activities that we're doing, share it. Share the post and just let people know about the good work that the Fellowship is doing. We're not asking you to do anything weird on your Facebook.
If we get together as groups and we say, hey, let's challenge each other to find new friends on Facebook. Who's out there that looks like it's you see, like when you go to potential mutual friends, how many of you guys know how to look at your potential new mutual friends? Okay? If you know how to do that, or I can help you look that up, and then you can friend somebody, and it looks like they have a lot of mutual friends with you. Chances are maybe they're engaged in some kind of ministry. That's what I see when I look on my Facebook, is I see people that are engaged in ministry, and I friend them, and then, or I send them a message and say, hey, we're doing a show in this particular area, and would you consider talking to your church? And I get responses back, and I build into things that way, and it works.
I feel it breaking out like